helps that. Technology. Great, so what we'll start with is just kind of introducing ourselves, and we'll talk about what led us to be here. Like, why did you decide on Yoga 101? Let's just start over here, your name, how much yoga you've practiced, and again, like what made you decide on this particular workshop?
I'm Karen Kirby. I've been doing yoga about 3.5 years, and I just want to improve my form. I know I'm not as smooth as I should be. I watch you and Sarah, and it's like, okay, I've got a lot to learn, and I think I need that extra help to say, hey, if you did this, it would be better.
Okay, so just to kind of refine.
Yeah.
How long have you been practicing?
3.5 years.
Okay, all right, good. Good place to be. It's great for refinement and just kind of, sharpening things up, maybe creating more understanding. Okay.
Hi, my name is Ian. I haven't done too much meditating except for like 1 or 2 classes.
Okay.
I got this as a Christmas gift, and I want to learn how to meditate better. Because I did learn meditation
Okay.
like a long time ago, but I kind of just want to
Okay.
figure out.
So this class is going to teach you the yoga postures, which are basically a moving meditation. So yoga and meditation are very much interchangeable. This class is here to kind of introducing you to yoga as a practice on the mat. So we'll see. Okay. Go ahead.
I'm Carrie Topper, and I'm totally new to yoga, but I am taking Gina's workshop on the low back pain issues. So I need to learn everything, I guess.
Okay. You just want it all.
Yeah.
So we started a new low back program. Leslie and Woody both did that program last year. Okay. Fair enough.
Leslie Keefe, I don't think I really have a practice. I'm more intermittent, so I do it on and off kind of thing. But I wanted to do the yoga 101 because I've been taking some of Rebecca's and Sarah's classes and realized that I kind of stumble into the poses.
Okay.
There's probably better ways to do that.
Okay. Yeah, you want to go with a little bit more control and know where you want to be. Okay, I get it. All right, awesome.
Woody McKeevy, I pretty much what she said. I've been off and on and off and mostly off for 5 or 10 years, but it's more or less just watching somebody and trying to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
So plenty of room to
Okay.
right, I think.
I got it. Yeah, and I get that. There's a lot of people come to yoga and they go for years just like, oh, let me see what the person next to me is doing. You're just hoping that they know what they're doing. Yeah. All right.
Hoping that they know what they're doing. I've been doing it on Zoom. I'm a bond lettering, and I need correction to see how my form is, and particularly the transitions.
Yes.
From downward dog to getting, down to even think about doing chaturanga.
Okay.
And also the fish pose, or no, the pigeon.
Okay.
Pigeon, yeah.
Okay, so you came with a couple of specifics that you're thinking about, which is
Yeah.
fine, because I'm going to cover definitely that moving through the high planks or low planks and moving through down dog and all that. We'll get to it, not tonight. That's not my first night of Yoga 101. We'll get there. Yeah, so the reason that I teach this class is that I have, as my philosophy of teaching is basically that alignment does matter. And so there are some schools of yoga that are just like they call triangle pose, and they just kind of give you a general idea, but then they're not really concerned with giving you specific instruction on how to be in that pose or how to refine it. And that's just one of the views of how yoga happens. I am from a school that is very much alignment based and teaches, I feel that it does matter. And one of the things I brought just to kind of support my view is a book called Anatomy Trains. And this book is basically written by Tom Myers, and he has really kind of changed the way that yoga is taught, I think, and the way yoga therapy is done, especially. And basically his work is all based in dissections that he has done, and they even show pictures of the dissections of the plantar fascia, right? We all heard of plantar fasciitis. He has spent extensive time figuring out where these lines of, have you heard the word fascia, connective tissue that runs through the body, right? And now there's the big thing, myofascial release for your massage and so forth. They have really linked this locking down of fascia to a lot of the origination of pain in our bodies. So he has taken extensive time to basically identify different lines of fascia, which are continuous. And so he's actually been able to, by changing the way that they do dissection and the way that they do this, there was a time when they would do a cadaver dissection and they would just basically peel away the fascia like it was meaningless. It's what bags all of the muscles, all of the organs. It kind of is basically everywhere in the body. It's the extracellular matrix. Everything that our body is basically the fluid around the muscles. Have you ever had a piece of chicken and there's that little piece of membrane on the outside that when you know what I'm talking about, or even that you can see it in meat often. That is basically bagging all of your muscles, and it melds into the tendons and ligaments. So the tendons, ligaments connect into that fascia, that bagging of the muscles, and then it gets much denser and thicker. So we have really thick bands of fascia here, the sacrolumbar fascia, which is very thick. It's almost like the grizzle on a steak, you know, when you have that really thick white band, you can see it. And so he has basically given the credence to how we use, these are the deep front line, and this is very essential to supporting the spine. Okay, so this deep line of fascia, which it really is from the chin and all the way down and through, it goes all the way down into the feet. And it's one continuous band that he has been able to also map out and create some information. I guess it's basically, I think, information, and the fact that science is now supporting how we move and how we use yoga in order to kind of realign the spine and all of the skeletal system. And so when I teach a class like this, it's really coming back around to saying, like, how do we find the best alignment for our body? How do I modify, for instance, if I have an injury? Maybe it's not best to go into the deepest manifestation of the pose. So this class is really a passion for me because as I moved from, that was my original instructor. So that was the original sequence that I learned, and it's intense. It's an intense, like 55 minutes. We go in and go boom, 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 boom through those poses, and it was very kind of almost like, he was very much alignment oriented, but there wasn't a lot of talk about, well, what do I do if I have a neck injury? And what do I do if I have this? And so it wasn't very user-friendly. Right? So when I started teaching, I started to realize that doesn't work for everybody, that sequence. I mean, you can even look at some of the poses from here and go, you know, he's standing on one leg, hooked one leg in, and he's got it up to the sky. That's one in, you know, maybe 40 people that can execute that pose. And so I really have come to a place of wanting to teach yoga therapeutically. Yeah, if somebody can do that, great. I can lead them there. But here's what I feel like this particular sequence, this class is about helping you to really understand what is good alignment, how does it look in my body, and how do I make those transitions, because it's often in transition that we get hurt. So we'll talk about how to transition. I'll also try to teach you guys more and more about how to connect with your breath as you're moving, because that's a huge part of yoga, is the inhaling as we rise, the exhaling as we fall. We start to use the breath in order to move the body. And so on that note, I think that what I would like to do is just have you kind of get a sense of that, of how the breath moves the body and how we kind of use that breath as a way to create space in the body, right? So we can inhale, and immediately on an inhalation, we're going to get expansion of the rib cage. We're going to get movement of the lumbar spine. Naturally, just breathing, we get movement. So I think what I would like us to do, I'm trying to decide what my best option is for this. I think what I'll have you guys do is lie on your backs, on your mats, and we'll just start with just some core breathing. So just laying on your back, And I will walk you through a little bit of core breathing, just so you can start to feel how the breath is so pivotal to yoga in general, right? To life, but very important in yoga as well. I'm just going to give a little bit of dimming to the lights so you don't feel like we've got all that going on. All right, we're going to be with our knees bent and our feet on the floor. And I'm just going to have you do nothing to control the breath at this point. If you need to support your head with a blanket, I have blankets or those little squishy mats. I want you to be comfortable as you're lying here and you start to study your own breath. Grab my glasses. Okay. Try to be comfortable. You want something for your head? A blanket? Yeah, I've got blankets here. So that's totally, anybody else would like a blanket? Just give me a wave. So once you're on your back and you've got your knees bent, yeah, you're welcome. Ian, right? Yeah. Let your feet be about hip distance apart. Let your eyes closed. Place one hand on your chest and one hand on the lower rib cage and the upper belly. So one high and just at the upper belly, the other. If this arm position is uncomfortable, right, try to just relax the elbows down to the floor, yeah, so that you don't have to create too much strain. So Karen, can you let that elbow drop and just still have a hand? Yeah, there you go. Because we don't want to create tension. Breathe softly through the nose. And try not to have a lot of movement right now. Keep the breath very subtle. So just breathing in and out through the nose without trying to expand or make the breath do anything deep, right? Just breathe. Feel the breath, be very subtle, inhale and exhale. Now I'm going to have you start to inhale and let the belly expand, but not have so much expansion in the rib cage. So just inhaling and the belly will soften and expand. And as you exhale, you'll feel the belly draw in. Try not to be breathing so much that you're creating any movement in the shoulders at all. So the breath is really moving subtly down low into the belly. And we're moving that breath in and out through the nose. Try to get the breath moving in and out so the belly's rising and falling with minimal movement in the upper ribs and chest. So we're really dialing it in and bringing the breath lower into the belly. Now, we're going to start to inhale and get a little bit of expansion in the low ribs with each inhalation. So now the breath is just moving a little higher. So maybe where that hand is resting just at below the rib cage, we start to feel the low rib cage expand. But we're not feeling like the chest, high up in the chest is lifting. And as you exhale, you're going to make it a little more active. You're going to draw the navel in a little bit to help the breath out. And just continue to breathe that way. We're letting the belly expand, the lower rib cage expand, but not getting it so high up that we shrug our shoulders. I guess that's what we're trying to stay away from. It's called subtle breath. And as you're breathing this way, just to notice maybe that there's a natural undulation in the lumbar spine. So as you're inhaling, maybe you're noticing, hi, inhale, and there's a difference in my low back. As I exhale, maybe that lumbar curve flattens. You might even start to exaggerate that a little bit, but as you exhale, you're drawing the navel in and you're feeling the low back flatten a little bit more towards the mat. With your inhale, you might start to feel that expansion where you're opening up and the low back is coming away from the mat a little bit. You're just getting to feel how that naturally happens each inhale and exhale. Just take a couple more breaths just like that. And as you exhale, maybe be a little more active with your pulling in of the navel. And then just kind of notice, as you breathe this way, if there's been any change in how you physically feel lying there on the floor. maybe energetically how you're feeling, just by shifting your awareness to the breath and controlling the breath. It is a form of meditation, focusing on the breath. Good. I'm going to have you just let your hands rest down at your sides now. And just take your feet as wide as your mat. Keep the knees bent. And then just let the knees start to windshield wiper side to side. So both knees go right, both knees go left. And you just go as far as feels good for your hips and your inner thighs and your back. So just taking it, like to think of it as a drizzle, not a rainstorm, right? Just a little gentle pivoting of those hips side to side. Good, and then we'll come to stillness. Then we'll walk those feet back so that they're hip distance apart, and then just gently hug your knees toward your chest. Grabbing a hold, hands can wrap around the shins, and maybe now just let the hips move a little side to side to massage out the low back. Okay, we're just going to roll to one side and then help ourselves back up to that easy seat position. Any observations or questions about that little breathing exercise? Anything? Yep.
I feel like I get easily distracted, so I probably need to do it in a much more quieter environment because they were laughing.
Yes, it's very easy to get distracted. And that's totally part of it, right? Is that we have these noises, not just external, but then the ones in our own head distracting us. So yes, it would be much better if we had a nice quiet room. I know Rebecca out there running her book club. But that part of what we're learning too, Ian, is how can we be in the chaos and bring it all in and start to be able to breathe and have that swirling around us without it being distracting. That's then another level that we work toward. It doesn't happen easily, and it's a constant struggle. But thank you for sharing that, because it's honest. Yeah, I was distracted by them too. I was about to go out and go, Rebecca, go home. God love her. She's very theatrical. Rebecca's a teacher that started out down her whole career started on Broadway acting, so you get that now, her theatrics. She brings it to her yoga teacher. So the way I've arranged this class, just so that you guys kind of know where we're going, is that each week I've got a list of poses that I thought we would explore. And then we'll build on the next week. And I don't have an agenda. I have a list, an idea of what we might accomplish, but really you dictate that. So what we get through, and what we don't, we don't. If you have something that you're really curious about or that comes up in class during this upcoming week and you want to bring it to the discussion table here, we can totally adjust. So it's open. So my plan, because I was a teacher before I was a yoga teacher, right? And so lesson plans and the whole thing are all part of my thing. So what I have is my idea of what we might do is our mountain pose, which is Tadasana, and I'll demo all of these, how we forward fold, how we half lift, and then maybe we would get to the warrior one and lunge poses. So I'm not trying to cover a whole lot of ground. I want to talk about how we move with the breath and how we move through these poses with our breath helping us to move. It's that simple. So we really, I'm not rushing, especially this group, because I kind of divided it to two groups so that I could have the people that might have been practicing really regularly for years and years in here and do them in one group and then this group separately. So, all right, so on that note, we're going to come to standing. So many of your classes, we will work you through a warm-up seated. And I will address that, like how to get comfortable in a seat and all that, but I wanted today to at least get through some of the fundamental standing postures. Then we bring you up to standing, and then there's a few basic movements that warm the class up and start to get us through all the movements of the spine, forward folding, back bending, side bending, and so forth. The most basic, I have these kind of fancy mats here that were actually designed by that instructor there. They kind of might help to map this out for you. I'm going to have you grab your block, bring it with you to your mat. It doesn't matter, anywhere on your mat. And you're just gonna draw that block in between your legs the long way. And you're gonna bring your feet parallel and try to get them about hip distance. And hip distance is not out here. I wanna have this little bone that's the top of our pelvis, the anterior superior iliac spine, is what the formal name is, it's your hip point, is gonna line up with your knee, is gonna line up with the center of the foot. So it's a lot narrower than a lot of us think, right? So find your alignment. And so Carrie, your feet are gonna come in pretty much quite a bit closer. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Yeah. You way overestimate your hips. There you go. Right, there it is. And then we just want to look at the feet and notice if we have done something like this, where our feet are more turned out, we want to really work to align the outside edge of the foot. If you look down at the outside edge, those are parallel. They look like an 11. It's going to look like your toes are in if you look at the interior edge because of the way the feet are built, right? You want to look at the outside edge. And you want to feel that kind of gentle squeezing of your block into the thighs. Yeah. Now, once you've got that, you're going to just sway forward and back a little bit. Let the weight undulate between the feet and the heels until you try to find kind of this plumb line, right? Because there's a tendency for some of us to shift and the weight goes all into the toes and we kind of get this bowing this way. Some of us, we have this, but then the bum goes back. So you might even want to turn sideways and see what is your propensity. Can you find a plumb line as you look in the mirror?
And our feet are totally flat.
Okay, is that right? Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, you can go that way, yeah. You're gonna feel all four corners of your feet. It's a good idea to take off that, yeah, so that you kind of see, like, what's my tendency? Sometimes we kind of like, we're always ready to move forward, right? This kind of on our toes. Yeah, so work that. See if you can start to pull the weight even between the toe and the heel so that we become like, if I were to shoot kind of that plumb line down through the crown, it would come out through the tail. Yeah. Find the shoulders relaxing. How does it feel to stand this way? Does it feel weird to anybody? Feels weird to you? Yeah. This is called mountain pose. This is Tadasana. This is where we start to stack the spine and the bones in the way that they were built to support us, right? So the skeleton is built in order to support the weight of the torso and the entire body, right? And so when we start to align the bones, maybe soften your knees. So if you're a knee locker, the knee lockers tend to go here, right? Which makes the arms shift back. It means that you need to soften the knees to take that out. And here, is there a knee locker in here? Let me see. You can be, right? If you lock your knees, go ahead and do that. It's much easier to push him around when he's got that, but if he softens his knees, it's harder to push him around. Somebody can go over much easier when their knees are locked, as crazy as that sounds. So we want to have that little sinking into the knees. This is mountain. This is that baseline that we come to. Spin back toward the mirror and then reestablish your feet. Build it from the bottom up. You get out of your way. And this is another piece that will just kind of give you a read. Just let yourself hang there. Yeah, wiggle the arms and drop them. Okay. Just gazing at yourself in the mirror, looking for symmetry side to side. Yeah. Notice, right, where your hands lie. Do your hands, like, is one more forward, one back? Where did you end up? And just, if you can, rotate it back and work with that. If this is happening, there's a chance that if you're looking and one arm's more forward than the other, there's some rotation somewhere in maybe the shoulder girdle or the pelvic girdle, right? And if we end up that we relax and we walk and our hands are all the way up here, this whole assembly might have started to migrate. So this is where we start to reset, maybe do this a few times, reset, pull the shoulders down and back, neutralize the neck, right? So we don't want the chin up, we want it nice and even and pull back. That's Tadasana. This is where we're going to move from. We're going to try to find this again and again in poses. On your next in-breath, we're just gonna play with moving our arms here. So inhale, we're gonna open the arms and reach them up. So the palms turn out and then we lift. Inhale. As you exhale, bring them right back down, they circle back. Inhale. And exhale. Now we're going to isolate this breath in and out through the nose. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Good. And another time, this time let's do it slower. Inhale, flip, reach, 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 reach. Inhale. Pull the shoulders down a little bit. Good. Exhale, bring it back down. This time we're going to take a change. Inhale, lift. And as you exhale, just let the right hand drop and lean over a little bit. That left arm's going to just reach over. The left foot's going to stay planted. And we're going to just let this whole left side body get a couple deep breaths. Good. Inhale, reach both arms up. And as you exhale, let the other hand come down. Watch this action of, look, you can see it in my shirt. Reach, 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 reach. Create length here. Soften the elbow. Find a neutral neck. Try to stack the two shoulders. And then lean in a little bit more. Breathe. Let the hips move a little bit that way as you do this. So the whole assembly, watch the whole thing. You feel that? So we let the hips kind of go whoop, and then we reach away. We get that down into the IT band too. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands down. Okay, you can get rid of your block for a moment. First the block. And so now we're going to add in another piece that comes at you over and over again. It's the forward fold and half lift. And these two pieces create what I call like a in-between pose neutralizer. So I'm going to demo it first. This inhale, come up. Exhale, notice that when I go down, my hips go back. I'm letting my body kind of have the freedom so that I'm not bending from my lumbar spine. As I lean in, I'm coming down, my knees are softening, and I fold in and I just become nice and long and soft here. So this chin drops in and I hang in. Some people have got their range in the hamstrings that they can send the legs straight here. It might be helpful if your hamstrings are tight to have like little blocks here to give you a little support, like breaks, right? Then I'm going to call inhale to a halfway lift. We could either use blocks or we can use our shins. I say if you have tightness, the blocks could come in handy here. The half lift comes up, the head lengthens, and we lift up halfway with the spine. And I try to get a really level torso. And what will happen often here is like if somebody's new to yoga, you say half lift and they just come up, right? They're like, oh, that's all I'm supposed to do. But in this movement, we're creating the opposite. We're creating a nice extension in the spine and a stretch in here, work in the glutes, work in the core. I'm going to work you through it, and then we're going to play with straps and some activities to try to feel the energy of that, okay? So find your spot. You might want to bring your blocks in if you think you want to use them. Good. Find your mountain. Again, maybe without the block between your legs. Can you reestablish those feet parallel? Get the hips, yeah, the hip points, yeah, Kieran. Maybe even tick your heels out a little more. Yeah, there's more, that's better for you. Might not feel it, feels weird.
Yeah, it does.
But that's what's going to open up through here. And then you're kind of a lister forward. So this is all leaning in. I want you to pull this back, pull it back. Yep, no, belly too. Belly. Okay, so we took the weight out of the toes a little.
Yeah.
Did you feel it?
Heels. Yeah.
Just a little more in the heels. Okay, inhale. Yep.
Are we supposed to be engaging our abs?
Abs. It's actually something deeper than the abs. When we come into this pose, this is me without any engagement, and it's just the slightest little tilt. Actually, maybe do this. Put your fingertips on your hip points and your thumbs on your ribs, and then just close the gap. Close a little bit, right? So it's what that does, excuse me, is all it does is it's a little tilt of the pelvis the back of the pelvis down and the front of the pelvis up, it creates more space in the lumbar spine. So we go from here, it's a tiny pelvic tilt. That's the core engagement I look for here. I got a drink. I've been talking way too much. Okay. All right, so now your arms at your sides. Good question. As you inhale, we'll sweep the arms up overhead. As you exhale, the hips are going to go back. You're going to think I just drilled a hinge through your hips to fold forward. As you come down, you can let your hands rest lightly and then let the head hang heavy so your neck is not trying to hold up. Let it relax, especially you, right? Let that neck be long. Good, and just curl. You got long legs, so those blocks are handy. Now let's inhale. See if you can find a replication of that halfway lift. So your hands will come to your blocks, or your hands will come to the shins, and we'll come up halfway. No, right? Weird.
I feel like I'm doing what you said not to do.
Just take a breath. Don't worry about it. Don't be stressed. This is fun, right? Exhale, fold it back down, release it out.
And your weight is on your heels, right?
It's even. Even. Good question. Inhale, halfway lift again. I'm just watching you move right now, so I'm formulating. Exhale to fold. Getting a cramp?
Yeah.
Good. Now inhale, reach long with the spine and come all the way up to stand, sweeping your arms up as you go. This movement, right? Good. And we'll release it out. Okay, so let me now work through. I observed. Now I'm going to work through and see. I couldn't really see you. Could you step forward a little bit, Lamont? Yeah, just there. That way I can see you. I'm going to have Carrie, come on up here. Let me work you through it. Let me help you find it. Okay, so I'm going to have you guys watch Carrie find it, and then we'll refine each person. Okay, perfect.
My feet go here, it doesn't really matter.
You know what? Why don't we use the mat? Let's just go ahead. I would say putting a foot on each of those little feet would probably work good for you. Yeah, good. All right, now inhale, we'll bring the arms up. Up and up and up and up. As you exhale, the hips go back and you reach down. Let it go. Chin drops into the chest. So this is where people struggle, right? This is where I want her. I want her round. Now I want her to come up to the halfway lift. Come on up. Get your hands there. Come up to the halfway lift. All right, she's got a pretty good sense of this. Come up on your fingertips more. Yeah, so that the spine becomes real long. So now her head's not dipping low. I'm going to help you a little bit. I want you to let these draw together. Yes. Did you see how her upper back flattened a little bit more like this? And then I'm going to just stretch you back, pull these around. So I pulled the scapula down and together. Did you feel that, Carrie? How it created length. Can I stretch you? Let your head go neutral. Yep, not too much. Okay. Neutral neck. There it is. Retract. And then keeping that nice and neutral. She's had some surgery. I'm going to be gentle. I just want this sense. So you see how she's gotten long. I got the rounding out of the upper back, and she's really starting to get the sense of controlling the scapula. You feel the stretching?
Oh, yes.
Yes, okay, she feels the stretch. This is nothing crazy, right? But it's powerful because I've created extension in space in the vertebrae, right? Now the weight can shift maybe more towards the front. Yeah, but not the shoulders, right? The whole assembly. There it is. And then again, just for the good, because it's good for you, a little stretch. Good. And this stretch is awesome. Good. Release back in, fold. Just let your whole body drop in, bend the knees if you need to. Good. Now come up halfway like you just were. See if you can reestablish that halfway lift. More. Good. Retract. Neutral neck, chin in just slightly. Now put your arms out like a T to the sides. Good. Press into your legs. Inhale, come the rest of the way up. Inhale up. That's a piece from the low back program. You took that. Remember that? So this is important for you guys that are, I stuck on my phone all the time. I thought that was my phone. This piece of rising is important, how we do it, right? Because very often in a class, the teacher will call, okay, inhale, stand up, and we just kind of flop ourselves up without any awareness of how we're moving from forward to up. This is how I would like it to happen. We inhale, and we almost like we're executing the half lift. So Carrie, what you kind of came up here, and all I did was let you feel this. That there's basically, this is going to be for you too, Ian. You're really rounded. You're going to start to just kind of pull the shoulders back so that you get the flatness. When I come into that, do you see how my lats are working, all the rhomboids are working, all of the muscles, partly why I wore this shirt, right? You can see how all of that works when we are in just a basic pose. I'm sweating from that, you know? Okay. Ian, can you come up? Let Ian come up, and I want to see if I can align him. And as you're watching this, hopefully there's pieces, right? All right, Ian, parallel feet. Good, let them be there where you need them. Inhale, reach your arms up over, okay? As you exhale, let the hips go back and just round in. Now you can be rounded, right? You can let everything fall in, chin drops, we get long. Now inhale halfway, reach the heart up. You're going to take the rounding out of the spine now. So the way that's going to happen, these are going to draw together more. Yes, good. Keep that. Fold in at the hip now. So go back down, but don't let the upper back round. Bend the knees a lot. Pull it together again. Retract and then lengthen. Good. Can you send the legs a little straighter and keep the back body still? So get the legs, lengthen the legs. In other words, pull the knees back. Pull the knees back. Ooh, keep it going. Come up higher. So what I'm going to do for him, he's got tight hamstrings. He needs to have this happen. Bring this in. Because you know what I'm after is to get rid of this. All right, bring your hands up onto the chair instead. Yeah? There it is. There it is. Retract the shoulders. Lengthen through the neck. Good. And then you just settle with this. Like literally every day to stretch this back line for him will make a whole difference in your body, how it feels. How does that feel? Okay, good. All right, you can come on up. All right. Tall. How old are you?
19.
19. Yeah, tall. He's still in his body's not even done growing completely. So he's still got length to go potentially. It's good. You can go on back. Thank you, Ian. You come on over. Let's just get one more step in here. I just want to watch. Karen's been practicing a lot, so I'd like to just watch her. So right away, you go here. You're going to have to work that.
Okay,
Okay?
don't do that.
Ideally, the lock knee shift forward, you want to soften the knees and let that come back. Do you see that? Yeah. So that's going to start to, this is just, yeah, pull in. Not this, right? Tip the pelvis too.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now inhale, reach up. Exhale to fold. Soften your knees when you go in, because she went into hyperextension. So when you went down, your knees actually went backwards. Okay. So when you come in, I want you to, when you start bending, just let the knees soften a little bit. Keep them soft. You can send them back once you're in. Okay. Then chin to chest. Let this whole thing come forward a little bit. Breathe. Now inhale, halfway lift. Lengthen. Watch for hyperextension. This is a habit for you.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay. And then the neck reaches long. Chin slightly in. A little bit more chin. Pull it back. Lengthen, lengthen. That's the energy. Yep. Stay with me. Sorry. There it is. Breathe. Maybe a little bit more retract. Shoulders active. Good. Then the hips forward. Soften the knees. Soften the knees. Exhale to fold. Yeah, it's going to be hard.
Mm-hmm.
Inhale, bring it all the way up. That's going to be the piece I want you to take away from this whole program. It's your tendency to lock and load.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah. It's like, you're like, bring it. I'm ready to fight. Right? Lock and load it. It's so, it's
It's normal.
wow. Well, it's what you're used to.
Yes.
Right? So we're used to this, which these become hypertonic, and eventually this will play out as knee issues for you.
That's why I have these.
You already have knee issues.
Yeah.
Ah, well, there is the answer. So if you can start to not hyperextend the knees and have developed this quad and glutes. So for you, if I were doing therapy with you, I would say every day you need to do some time in here, holding the wall squat, and then working to develop the glutes, doing squats, lunges, side lunges, things to develop this assembly. The back side, this is super strong, and these are just not doing anything. Yeah. Okay. Let me see everybody do that again. I'm gonna stand down here. Let's all inhale, sweep our arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Hinge the hips. If you're a knee locker, soften the knees. Yeah, round. This is where it's okay to be round, right? Chin drops to the chest, your spine is rounded. Now inhale halfway, lengthen the spine. Hands can come to blocks or shins. Why don't you try the shin hold? Yeah, just bring your hands on the shins. Yeah, just below the knees. Bring them below the knees. Reach the heart back, heart down. Yeah, good, Leslie. So now I'm gonna challenge you. Can you get your legs a little straighter now? Okay, because you have the flexibility. Now the challenge is, can you bring your hips forward more? Yeah, don't round. I want the whole assembly. Right? Good. Exhale to fold. Release it out, everybody. Inhale, come all the way back up. And now we're going to partner up, and I'm going to show you what you're going to do with your partner. Can you come on back here, and I'll partner with you for a second. You're going to take your partner and you're going to hook them in. And you're going to try to get them right on those hip points, not on their belly. Because where we want to hinge, when I say, imagine I drilled through here on you. That's the pivot point, not here, ideally, right? And that's why we bend the knees, so that the low back can stay perfectly flat as we hinge and fold. This is also how you should do yard work, right? So as we're moving in to come down and get that lead, right? We're not just going, right? That's after you get in, it's fine to let that low back round. So we're gonna do this. You're gonna inhale, reach your arms up overhead. I'm gonna keep it light. My straps are light. Exhale, fold. Let her fold. Go ahead. Exhale, exhale, exhale. I'm not gonna knock you over. Okay. Now inhale, halfway lift. And as she half lifts, I want you to give her a little tension to reach against. So she's getting, do you feel that? Yeah, like you're lengthening, elongating, and creating space between the vertebrae. Because her crown reaches forward, her head reaches forward, her tail pulls back. And see how she's got this wrinkle right there? I don't want that. So I want you to tuck your chin a little more. Again, I lose some of that, right? And we get that pull back. Yeah, it's the chin slightly in and pulling back towards you. So like press the back of your head toward my hand now. Yes. Do you feel that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, right?
Okay.
It's everything. Because what has just happened is that she took the compression out of the cervical vertebrae. Just go back the way you were. The head was there. You see the line I'm talking about? And then I get rid of it. And then she, not only did she do that, she didn't just drop the chin. She pressed her head back into my hand, the whole thing, the head. There it is. And that is creating length here in these muscles along the side of the neck.
So push your head up.
Yeah, and what that does is it pulls the chin back in space.
Okay.
Good. All right, get your partner and hook them up. Yeehaw! Okay, good. Works out. We got an even number.
Yeah.
Let me try with you.
You
guys
are moving in, they're still building a house.
They were my neighbors for years. And we're
Oh my gosh, yeah,
They're
right down the
great
street.
people. Great people. Good. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
She had it a little below the hip.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I'm gonna just walk around and watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
funny.
just a tad lower.
Yeah, you did say cover.
Yeah.
Well, when I heard twirl,
Is it lower than you thought?
There you go.
Okay. That's actually where you exhale to fold.
Right there.
There it is.
That's it.
There it is. You got it, Leslie. That's where I would put it.
So when she comes back.
Now, when she comes to half lift, you're gonna give her something to pull against. So just a half, stop at the half lift. Yeah, there you go. Inhale, half lift. Now you pull against his strap. Don't let her go. Woody, you could really mess with her right now.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Shoulders. Let's give a little bit more of this piece drawings again.
Am I pulling too
Yeah,
hard?
you feel that?
Pulling too
yeah.
hard against me.
Yeah, okay. You're not pulling too hard. Get some length. There you go. How does that feel? Okay, good. Push your head up. Breathe. Oh, sorry. I want some breath. Exhale to fold back in. Give her a little slack, although it does feel good to kind of have the strap there for the hold. Yeah, there you go. That lifting, make sure you lift through the half lift. So when you rise up, lengthen the spine, get the chin in line, right? This is your halfway point to
And
rise.
then.
Yeah, and please, I want to see that. Yeah. So inhale, half lift. And then, let's do the half lift and then the rise. So exhale to fold. Fold it out. Just come to your half lift, hands to shins or hand to blocks, however you do it. Neutralize the neck. Bring it in. Good. Okay. I feel like maybe I want less of the lumbar curve for you. So draw the navel in a little bit. Too much. Something in between. Little bit. There it is.
Oh, yeah, that's a little different.
Do you feel that?
I do.
Do you feel? What was that?
My abs just went,
Yeah, your abs are engaged and we're also not creating so much lumbar compression.
right.
Now retract. Yeah.
Mhm.
There it is. I could see it in her shirt.
Yeah.
Okay, now exhale, fold. Inhale, come up through the half lift. Yep, all the way. There it is.
That's so different.
It is so different.
Yes.
Let me see you move.
Yeah.
Nice. Exhale, fold.
There we go.
And then as you inhale, you want to come up through that halfway lift alignment, create it, and then keep going. Like, don't make it a stopping point, right? So we think about, I'm going to half lift, but then we press with the legs and finish it, and it becomes one hand movement. It's just that I'm thinking in my head, I'm creating the half lift, and I'm pressing from the legs. That's what it is. Yeah, pull the hands, give her something to pull again, so she's reaching her, let everything shift forward here. Not this, your whole butt, your everything, and then the shoulders go back. You got it.
There you
You got it. You teach her, Leslie, you know what you're doing. How can I help over here?
I think we're getting there. I think you have it now, so if you.
Okay, let's go to watch.
Exhale and going around.
Inhale, reach your arms up,
And then come up to.
as you exhale, fold it up, let it go.
Yeah, there you go.
Curl everything up. Bend your knees a lot. Remember, you just fold and let everything hang.
Yeah, that looks good.
Good. Now bringing your hands maybe just to your thighs. Good. And then from here, you're in good alignment. Just pull the shoulders back and then let everything shift so that you pull more towards your toes. Good. Relax the shoulders back a little bit. Take a couple breaths. He looks good.
Good.
Exhale, fold back down. Release everything up.
Yeah.
Good. And then inhale, come up that halfway, reach your arms around the circle all the way up to stand. So you come up half and then you reach it all the way, make it one big loop to come up.
I guess
And then
a little
exhale,
bit
bring
of
it
pressure
back.
helps.
Did you get a turn?
To sort of.
No, not yet. Okay.
Do that.
You're gonna give her a chair. That's all right, give her a chair. Okay. Right here. Any questions, observations?
I think I gained it over the last 4 weeks.
I got you.
From Thanksgiving.
Let me look a little bit.
Oh,
That shoulder's lower.
Have you had an injury? Have you had something that happened that could have caused, the fascia to tighten or tense?
yeah.
I'd like to see that person over your
So do you have
shoulder.
Over the years of babies and curses and the way we carry groceries and such. I would have to do a full assessment, but a lot of times it's just that we've got one area that's gone. Yeah. Okay,
Which I've never done.
I'll think about it.
Okay.
Okay, so we are going to, moving on. When we would come across that sequence in a class is right at the beginning. Like I would have warmed you guys up maybe on the floor and then we eventually move to standing. And then those can be used. Those 3 movements we use. I might say, okay, we do a warrior 1 and then we step forward. Before I go to the other side, by doing this movement, it gives me something bilateral that neutralizes the spine between sides. And it serves the same purpose as when we do plank and lower down and up dog and down dog. We do these sequences as neutralizers between sides. So it gives us back to a clean slate base again. So what we'll move to next is actually the warrior one position. So I think this mat is very helpful for that. And that we set up warrior one. Let me demo it and then I'll put you guys all into it. From our mountain pose where we have our feet hip distance, we step a foot back and we try to step again, like if I were here, it's basically my heel is in line where my foot was. So I just slide it back. We try to stay on railroad tracks for warrior one. So we've got these offset feet. If we are here, it becomes very hard to balance. It also is not going to be helpful for our knee to try to rotate forward. It's also not helpful for my back. So for warrior one, we get the feet, what we call on railroad tracks. Even then I wobble sometimes. We try to get the hips oriented forward, and my back foot might turn out maybe 25 to 30 degrees. Definitely not this turnout. We want to rotate in because if I try to have my toes out and then I drive my hip in, the knee is definitely compromised. So instead of that, it's this. We pivot the toes, the knee, and the hip are all now in the same direction. I'm not asking the toes to go one way, the knees to go another, and the hip to go a third direction. Once we've got that, then we're going to play with where we align the spine and how we align the pelvis in the warrior one, because there's a lot of places the pelvis can be. So let's do this. Start with your mountain at the top of your mat, at the top. All the things you learned with the block, the peak parallel, everything close together. We get that all locked in. We don't lock our knees, do we, Karen? Every class now, you're gonna be like,
no, I'm gonna pay attention.
oh, and I will be too. All right, so once we've got that, let's just take hands to hips. Look down and just step your foot back so that it lands pretty much in a straight line from where it was. And then that foot is really not gonna turn out to a 90, right? We wanna establish the feet, find the distance that works, right? So then we're going to bend in and we're going to try to stack this knee right over the ankle, and the back leg is pressing back nice and firm. So we kind of want to feel that activating of the back leg. We're on different legs. So I'm going to just not call right and left. The back leg, front leg. You go, Woody. There you go. Once we've got this, right, I'm just going to let you straighten the leg for a second, take a little break. Set it back in. If your knee is going way past the ankle, maybe you need a little more space. Maybe you need to slide that foot back so that you can get the depth that you feel a good stretch here. This pose works to stretch here, strengthen here, strengthen here. You're feeling it by now where you're strengthening the hips. This is good for strengthening. Once you've got all that, you're going to just take and find like where you pivot the hips forward, pivot them under, feel it how it comes through. Find a neutral pelvis. So we're not duck biting. Maybe I should turn this way. I'm not duck biting. I'm not totally turning under. I want to find that neutral. There's a lot of places the pelvis can go, really, right? And then once we've got that, press firm into the outside edge of that back foot. Now, the same way that we raised our arms for mountain, we just came up and we rotated the pinky slightly together and we bring the shoulders down and away. Yes, length. And then just breathe a few breaths there, pressing into the back foot so that you feel the stretch into the right. Your front knee maybe could bend a little more, Woody. There it is. Good. Let the hands come down alongside your hips and straighten the front leg. Just let it go nice and straight. We're going to flow it in as you inhale, bend the knee, and then just reach your arms around like hitchhiking. Yeah. Exhale, straighten.
So you don't move your body, you're just moving your
All I'm doing is the leg is bending and then the leg is straight. Inhale. Exhale. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. Circling down. I'm gonna stand right here, and I just wanna get the motion of the arms. Look at the upper arm bone. It's gonna roll and open back. And so from the side, you can see it. It's going from here to here, which opens up the pec line. Yes, and then we bring it back, and we open it up, rotate it back. This is therapeutic, because our arms do this from all this. Yeah, so here we go. Let's bend in, inhale. Exhale. 2 more, inhale. Rotate, exhale. Good, come in, right? Get in, and then close the core. So open core, close the core. That little bit of engagement to make sure that we're doing the same thing, right, that we did in that fold. Pressing strong, good. Inhale, hands to heart. Exhale, press the back foot forward. Release it out. Just take a moment. Reestablish, shake it out, shake it out. Questions, observations?
So this muscle is affected. Is that what it's supposed to?
It's getting stretched and strengthened. Is it cramping a little bit or just feeling it work?
Yeah, cramping it if I don't put more pressure on this
Okay.
foot leg, and that's what happens.
Yes, because if you put more pressure into the back foot, Ian, it's stretching it more. And your tightness on this whole back line is what will start to give way. Okay, over time, this will start to go, oh, okay, Ian's gonna do yoga. I guess I better give it up, right? So when we find that that back leg is cramping down there, or you just can release it out a little bit. You know, go in, go out. That's part of the going in and out. Just let it have. And you can also shorten your distance. Now, find what works. Right, we try to get a good distance so that we feel something stretching. Make sure we switch legs. So I think we had left forward, now we have to put the right foot forward. Left foot steps back. So make sure you switched, whatever you did, that if you did an opposite leg from me. Remember, the back foot is not turning out too much. Carrie, you're a little close to the front. So rather than trying to move the back foot, when we're gonna adjust, just lift and wiggle the front foot over. That's it. Now you can bend in. Feel that press into the back leg. Your hands go to your hips. Good. Find that strong press so you feel that outside edge of the back foot really sealing down. Now the arms can come down. Let's do that little flow. We'll come up, straighten the leg, arms down. Inhale, bend the knee, flip. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. All right, last one. Just hold it for a second. Hold it. Breathe. Pull the core. Good. Exhale. And step it forward. Questions?
I noticed my right foot was turned out more to keep balance when it's back. So just work on bringing it.
That's probably tightness in your hip that's wanting the foot to externally rotate. Right? So just walk toward me. Like just come here like you were gonna walk toward me, follow me, walk, follow, 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 and stop. Keep walking and stop. Yeah, I'm coming. So you're saying this foot didn't want to, yeah, because there's automatically this whole leg assembly wants to be more externally rotated. And that's partly this weak tightness here is not letting that rotate around, which is also part of that locked knee. And is that the knee that hurts?
No, they both hurt.
They both hurt. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so for now, the warrior one, that whole way that we are shifting forward and we got everything squared to the front, it's the same setup that we use for what's called a crescent lunge. I feel that if you can master the crescent lunge, it's one of the hardest poses, honestly. So now we're going to step the right foot back, and instead of letting the foot anchor, we're going to stay on the toes. And you don't have as much floor space, right, that you're in contact. So it might not be as long. You might need to have hands on the hips. You might even want a chair in front of you if you feel like you're really wobbly. And then your same principle as you're on those railroad tracks, right? If your knee is forward of the ankle, period, that tells me you could go further back. So you wait more. Yep, stay with it. Let me get into the chair so you know. I feel like you have something, but then I go there, right? So get set. Once you're set, then you kind of come back and you find that stretch. So this crescent lunge, you should probably feel a stretch in that right side hip flexor, right? The one that's back. This is stretching this line. See if you can extend the leg more, bend the knee. Extend the leg, bend the knee. Find where is the best place for you in this, right? Because for some of us, when we try to extend the knee, it just creates so much discomfort. It's no longer useful, right? So maybe a bend in the knee lets us get more length in the lumbar spine. If you can send the leg back and not get really compressed, that's all good and well, but I like to try to find the happy medium. Feeling that leg working, yeah? Let's maybe now add the hands up overhead. Relax the shoulders down, good. Reach the arms back behind you, lean forward. Balance challenge. Inhale, lift up. Right, balance challenge. Just one more time, let's lean it. Try to find a neutral neck, so just take your chin slightly towards your chest. Good. Inhale, bring your arms up. Exhale, bring your hands here, and then press off, bring the back foot forward. If you go down, take somebody with you.
Not me.
Take them all out. Okay, so now to neutralize between sides, you want to slide that out of the way. Let's do that. Inhale. Exhale to fold. Let it go. Round it in. Just hang for a second. Inhale halfway. Halfway, lift hands to shins. Bring your hands to your shins. This is a separate stop, right? Yes, find the leg. You need to be able to stretch those legs out a little more. Here we go. There it is. That's okay, yeah? Yeah. And then bring the chin up, just there, pressing the occipital ridge into my hand, the base of, yes, but not tucking the chin so much, on top. Yep, press this in. Yes. You feel how when I lengthen and pull the ponytail forward? Yeah. Exhale to fold. Inhale all the way up. Remember, lengthen before you rise. Press into the feet so you feel your glutes activate, and then hands to heart. We'll do the other side. So I can't remember. I think it was here. We stepped right back. We stepped left back now. Yes? So I'm on the left back, right foot forward for the crescent lunge on the other side. Give it a step back. Get your feet on railroad tracks, so you're automatically going to be challenged, right? It's going to be a challenge. Bring your chair back around here. You got definitely. Look for the railroad tracks, and then play with just keeping the hands on the hips when you're changing up, right? And we're going to straighten the leg and bend it. We're going to find that depth that feels good for us, right? Do I need to bend? Do I need to straighten? Where do I need to be? Can I lean in? Maybe this is giving us this alignment, long shoulders here. And then watch the chin jut, chin slightly in. Yeah, good. Inhale, let's let those arms come up. Lifting, and then lean. I take and shift my gaze. I find a knot on the floor. And then as I come up, I find a corner, or maybe I find a point on the mirror. Exhale, lean. Look at your big toe of the front foot. Inhale, come up. Good. Exhale, hands to heart. Step it in, bring the foot forward.
I've never been able to do that before.
This side's better for you? We always have the easier side. What have you never been able to do?
That pose.
Oh, really? The crescent?
Yeah.
It's a challenge. What helped?
I think being able to move that back leg a little bit more or
Further.
less, and
Yeah.
yeah,
Figure out where
Help
is
my
your
balance.
perfect,
and making sure that I didn't do that instead of that.
not being on a tightrope. I mean, some people like to live on tightropes. It's just their nature.
Yeah.
Can you come over here so I could demo something about upper body alignment now? You guys can relax, even sit on your chair if you want to. This is getting like, oh, I'm ready for a rest, right? Come right here. I'm gonna have Levon kind of, I wanna work through some alignment with her. So go ahead, come to the top, and either foot you wanna step back. So if you wanna go to the foot, whichever foot you feel you would rather step back to your lunge. I'm gonna go back. Yeah. So I want to see if we can get you off the heel. So we're on the toe, so it means you're gonna need to step back further. Do you see how when her knee went forward? And I don't really want that. I don't want her knee to go ahead of her ankle. I want her to find the stability side to side. You know, rather than trying to gaze at yourself, which is not dependable, try it like this knot on the floor. Okay, right? Because that's not moving. There's another cue. Don't use the person in front of you in yoga. They're gonna wobble. They're not dependable. They're totally undependable. Good. Now that you've got that, keep the steady gaze. Bring your arms up. Good. As you exhale, find that spot and lean forward. Maybe use your big toe. Okay. So she's going too low for this. Yeah, so I want you up higher, and I don't want your arms to rotate there. I want your arms to rotate. Watch her arm move open. So let's go back the way they were. When she curls all this in, like, right, she's creating more rounding in her upper back. What I want to do for Yvonne is to have her feel when she comes forward, to have this whole thing, just like in a half lift. So remember that half lift? It's here again. It's the same movement. I've opened her up through the shoulders, and I want you to float up. So I create, if I were to take a board and I attached it from here, pull your pelvis forward. And I went from her heel to her shoulder. Do you feel that now? Mm-hmm. Yeah? So I'm not letting her hinge at the hip. Come up through the chest and press the pelvis forward more. Yes, there it is. So I'm getting this line of a straight line from the heel to the shoulder. And it's harder, maybe?
Yes.
Lift up the chest a little more. Maybe that's better. Do you see what I'm after when she comes low? Now inhale, come up. I know it's hard. You're doing great. Come on, don't lose it. Bring those arms up overhead. Try to stay in your knee. Shift your shoulders back a little more upright. There you go, go back. That's it. Good. Come up on the toes. I held her there a long time.
Going down.
She's coming down. It's all right. Come on up slowly. Take the back foot forward. Yep. Take it.
Whoops.
Take a moment. Take a moment. I should have had a chair there ready for you. So that's the piece I wanted because she's been Zooming a lot. I don't have that luxury.
Yes.
When you're on a Zoom and you're like one of the little squares for me, to see that she was like really rounded and low, right? And all I wanted to do was take you out of it, flip the arms. So maybe I can show you what I just did. You were like here,
Yeah.
right? Do you see how that's not helpful for this? So the leg, again, it's the half lift. It's the same here, right? See what I just did? I went from here to here. That's what I created for you, Carrie. And then I just am taking that into this position. And I take it into this position. So all of this is happening because of this devices and computers and driving. Truck drivers have this a lot. You drive because they're rounding and they're reaching. And eventually the scapula start to migrate. Literally the whole upper back shifts and we start to get this. The arms will start to rotate forward. When you see somebody that their hands are here, when they're relaxed, this is happening. These movements start to correct because the pecs get locked short, the upper back muscles get locked long. So when we can start to access, reset, open, we shift that fascia and eventually maybe the bones too start to move. We don't ever want to be ending up head forward, right? Rounded, and we're now in this incredible amount of pressure on the neck. You can correct that with what we do in yoga, these little shifts and movements. That's a piece. So I teach this a lot. These types of movements become part of my class. This is yoga therapy where we start to work to open up the muscles that are tight, release the ones that, strengthen the ones that are weak, right? Because it's a combination. We want stability for the joints. And what stabilizes the joints? Muscles, right? So if we have atrophy, right, we haven't got the glutes developed, we don't have the muscles around the hip, there's nothing to stabilize it. it's not gonna do you good to get more and more flexible. Yoga, that's kind of a fallacy. That, oh, I'm gonna go to yoga and get flexible. It's not just flexibility that yoga is gonna give you. Yoga is gonna also give you stability. The stability, right, for her or for me as I age, to be able to step, you know, to know what to do. How do I make a movement? It's functional fitness. That's the key words, right? And that's used a lot, but I'm not sure that everything actually is working for that. So being able to incorporate balance, strength, flexibility, and then there's another whole level, this ability to breathe and become, right? To start to meditate, quiet the mind, and that has an immediate effect on our experience of pain. So it can modulate pain, which I will teach in the back program. It can also start to let us move out of places like anxiety, of constant worrying and churning, which then creates all this tension, right? We know. So let me see if there was anything else I really, really wanted to get to tonight. I'm not sure. Oh, here's my notes. Let me see what I had. Transitional, yeah, I did that. Warrior 1. Oh, I did not do that. I did all that though. Okay. Let's work it through. Did everybody end up bringing a strap with you? Yeah, let's do one more thing. Just keep your strap. We're gonna actually just do a little alignment for Warrior 2 compared to Warrior 1. So you can just watch me initially. So when I set you guys up for Warrior 1, we were all facing forward, right? Well, this is gonna be totally different. You're gonna basically face the red wall, and you're gonna get your feet in perfect line. So I might put both of my feet on that white line, heels in line. So my 2 heels are in a straight line, and I've got my feet turning straight on. So go ahead, do it. Do it.
And a wide line stance.
Well, let's say, that's a good question. I say put your feet wide, and that means something different to everybody.
Right.
If you go out, let's just say, let's get the feet as wide as the crease in our elbows at least. Can you get the edge of your foot? So if I were to drop this down, it's coming in, that crease of my elbow is right in line with the edge of my foot. Want me to test it for you? Sure, go ahead. Yep, that looks great. Good. Now just get that strap and let's just hold it out like this. Nice long straight arms. Yeah. And then turning your toes toward the mirror out 90 degrees. Bend in and out a few times. Bend in and out with that straight arm on that, reaching through. And if you find that you're able to go way past the ankle, lift the right toes and slide them back just a little bit and get a little deeper. And we'll create that reach through and then looking out at yourself in the mirror. This is the Warrior 2 position. It's different than Warrior 1. Remember, Warrior 1 is facing forward and we had the feet offset. When we come to Warrior 2, we've got the heel to heel alignment, right? And we've got that knee bending right over the ankle. Now really press into the outside edge of the back foot. Yeah. And then, yeah. Let this have a little more length. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, good. Okay, how does it feel? Take a moment, straighten your front leg for a second. Let's just straighten it, give it a little break. Yeah, then bend it back in. One piece that I want to hit is that look down at that knee and then track the knee over so that it opens up and you can see your big toe and the next little toe. Now you can let these straps just relax for a second, let the hands come to the hips. When we do that knee over, it's natural that the back hip might rotate in. It's just because they're connected, right? The key is track the front knee and then let the back hip follow. Then, as much as you're able, you bring the shoulders back around because this is the orientation, or maybe more toward that corner wall. Now the arms can float out without the strap. Warrior 2, relax your shoulders. Gaze out over the forward hand. Press into the outside edge of that back foot. You straighten your front leg for a moment. I'm gonna have you bring this, it is still externally rotating a little. Bring this toe in just, there it is. Yeah, better.
How can I make my shoulders less tense?
The less intention, but if they won't do it with your arms extended, you can let the arms come to your hips for a moment and give it a little rest. Yeah, and then another way to let the shoulders relax is to let the palms turn up. All right. So then let's just, what we do, a flying warrior, we inhale, we touch, straighten the front leg. Exhale, float it back in. Inhale. Exhale. And one more time, we'll inhale. This time, we'll let those feet come around in parallel. Good. And as you exhale, the hands will come to the hips. We'll step the back foot in to meet the left, and then turn back around towards the mirror. Good. We're going to just turn it right around to the other side. I just wanted you to still be facing toward the mirror and not the back of your mat. So let's open the left foot out. And then we'll turn the right toes out. Make sure that you're in heel to heel alignment or heel to arch. So you get your wide step. And now it's the right toes that turn out toward the mirror. And we're going to face the mirror. So the back foot stays where it was.
Right there.
Yep, turn it in. Yep. Keep turning. Yep, there it is. Now bend in, that toe turns out. So your right toes are out 90. Then you bend in and out a few times. Okay. Yep, you got it. Once you get in, if you find that you keep going past, you just lift the back toes and slide them back a little further. We get everything to align from the floor up, building the pose, feet up.
So the knee over the heel.
Knee over the heel. And then maybe look down. Can we track the knee? Open the knee a little bit. If we're tight, it's going to resist, so that you can look down and see your big toe and the next toe. And then if you want, you can try that with the strap, the arms extending to get that length. Try not to get back here. Try to get it right in and align with the shoulders. Find that breath, a few nice deep breaths in and out through the nose. Next week, we're going to really work through some more breath control. Good. Straighten the leg. And then release the strap. Just let the arms come out without the help of the strap. Feel the extension between the two hands. That's your warrior 2 position. Inhale, flying warrior. We just touch, straighten the right leg. Exhale, bend the knee, come back in. Inhale, fly. Exhale to bend. One more time, we'll inhale and exhale. Take one more breath here. Bring your hands to prayer, parallel the feet. Step the back foot to meet the front foot, right back into your standing position and come around to the front. Okay, so I think that that's enough for tonight as far as content, like what we've taken in, right? Next week, what we're going to do, I'm going to come right back to the warrior 2 position, and I'm going to play a little bit with straps with it. And we're also going to learn how to do the peaceful warrior side angle, how to work through that dancing warrior, we call it, where we add poses one after the other to each other. I think what we should do at this point is just open it for questions. Anything that's come up in classes, or maybe something you have a request for this sequence that you want me to prepare to teach. We've challenged. We will get to a place where I'm going to work you guys into the plank pose, the down dog, the up dog, the moving through those, right? And there will be modifications, Carrie, because I want you to feel comfortable to go to the classes here, the slow flow, those will be there, but you can choose how to modify or to completely pass on them. But I think that ultimately everybody here will figure out, oh, I really can do this. I can do this with alignment. Yeah.
So I see that now that you mention it, now I can't.
You can't stop seeing it? Seeing it, Ian, I'm sorry.
So my arms in this normal position like this.
Yeah.
And I want to get like this. So probably the second pose when you get through the stretching.
Yeah, open it up, that stretch there. And there are lots of poses that we do like this. We pull back, we open up through the chest. That stretches it back. for someone like you, right? Binding and bringing the arms back a couple times a day, just open it up. Another great stretch is just taking the hand, we should all do this, right? Bring a hand right at shoulder height, and then you just, palm turns away from you, and then you just start to turn your body away from it. Try to keep the neck from overstretching. So don't make it about the neck. Here, keep your chin in line with your sternum, and then rotate through here. There, yeah, the rotation's there, and the head and neck stay out of it, especially with this. Yeah, feel it? Drag the hand now too, so Ian, not only just turn, but then pull, like you're trying to slide the hand on the wall. Do you feel how it goes a little deeper? And then we'll release it out, and we'll switch to the other side. Good question. This is some good stretches just to find that rotation and opening through those chest muscles that get tight. We turn the torso, and eventually it'll move right down the whole arm. Good. Bring it back around. Also for that, so we did this standing, right? But there's a great pose that we offer in class a lot for that, Ian, and I'll just demo it. You guys don't have to lay down on the floor at this point. We do the same thing, but we're on the floor. We come from here, the arms extended, we roll toward it. And we get a nice stretch here. If my head is hanging, I don't like that. I usually support my head. It can get then progression so that the gentlest is here. Then we might extend and go further. We might shift and we start to really get in. I don't care for going this deep because I feel compression here. I get plenty right about here. So we do that. This is yin, where we will take a class and we will just move here. We'll just hold this for maybe a minute. Yin is a great class for realigning misalignments. It's therapeutic. And so it's just where we will hold. We use blocks, we use props. That's a good part of this class too, especially for you, Carrie, just to know what is a yin class and how is it different than a flow class. And I'll make sure we talk more about that. That's a good stretch for that. Another wonderful stretch for opening up through the chest, we can do with blocks or with bolsters. It's called a supported fish pose. So really what we're after is to open this. And when I elevate the rib cage, this is how yoga can start to whirl, really. I press right into the scapula. I let the chest rest. I support the head, so my head's not working. And then I let gravity work because I've elevated the rib cage and I've elevated the scapula and the chest. And now I can just let gravity work to pull this open by turning the palms open. And it gets the stretch here through the upper back. That's another one. So those are some great openers for the chest and shoulders. Okay. I would really appreciate it if you guys would help me carry all these chairs back to the other side before you leave, or I'll be here till midnight putting all these props back. That would be awesome. Of course, I'm sure I can get my husband to help me, but if everybody grabs a couple chairs and clean everything up, so much quicker. I'll be home in bed in time for 8 o'clock.
Oh, isn't it perfect?
Right?
Yep.
I'm such an old person. I love to go to bed early.
I'm in bed at 9.
I don't apologize. And right now, 4 or 5, you know. So you guys are neighbors now.
Yes, we know. I know, that's so fun.
Here, Woody, can you take one more?
Absolutely. Your glasses were on. So whatever.
Oh, I took them. I'm following you guys with some props. I'm coming along with these. I never even used these bolsters in the class. Better to have them than not want them. So we're going to keep going to the back hall. There we go.
So have you been doing yoga?
No, I've never done that.
Oh, so this is
But Tony does, actually.
yeah, he told me he
Yeah,
did.
he does now since we've been building, for probably since the last, well, he had people come over, some of the neighbors would come over.
I do yoga with him, but when COVID came,
And
of course,
he couldn't do it,
yeah. So he, and definitely now with the girls at the house, the people with me, he did. So, yeah, so right now, we haven't been doing it, but we've got to wait.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So.
Giving these back to you.
I am.
To wait now.
Oh, good.
I brought them all here and I didn't even.
That'll
It's
make it
easier to.
Would these go in the other room?
Everything
Right?
that we want to do,
Thank you.
yeah.
You're rocking it.
Sarah.
Oh my God, look at you.
Yeah.
Lady. You're fired.
One arm.
On what night?
Monday.
Long arm. So,
See, she just changed our, back class on Monday night right now. So it's only for
The
6
essential
weeks.
back class?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
class. We might do that last year.
Well, I was just a little frustrated, I couldn't get the Zoom to work, so
Oh.
I haven't been able to watch what we did last
We
week.
have terrible internet. That's our biggest frustration. She had been holding it for quite a while.
I have to remember all that. It's hard when it's strange.
Yeah,
It feels awkward.
it does, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, Tony would always try and get me to do it, and he does it so early in the morning, and I'm not an early riser. But I'm finding out a lot more gets done when you get up earlier. Because I'm still working at the office though, too.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
it's our body, right? We just get these patterns and ways of moving or not moving.
Okay, you said I should practice at home.
This, yeah, wall squat, get your feet parallel and even the feet, like to get your L, your 11.
Oh, okay.
All right?
Wow.
Yeah. And
And
then,
I'm strengthening this.
yes, everything. And you can strengthen both these and these and that, and we're gonna work it, but just stay in it now, stay.
Oh,
Oh,
don't go up and
yeah,
down.
just hang out.
Stay.
Yes, rest, see how long you can stay.
Okay.
You're welcome. Now we stay, yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
That's a hard one.
It is.
Especially you know, I used to walk on my kids.
Yeah.
Like that.
Do you do that?
I did. I learned how to.
I did
about
when
8
I
or
was
10
younger.
years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
And I actually
You're
started to
welcome.
get a few glutes. I never.
You gotta start doing some squats,
Okay.
some lunges, work the glutes, bridges, lifting up. And there's a sequence from my back program that I will teach you too. Remember that one? Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you guys so much. Oh, yeah, thank you. Have a great night. It was fun. Let me get all my other junk. I sure can spread out for a little thing.
Good evening.
Take care. See you, Leslie. Good to have you guys. I'm just gonna roll all this up and hide it for our next class. I have to hide it.
Hide it.
Yes, because you know, somebody will come in and use this for hot class and sweat all over my towel.
Oh,
I know, right? I gotta hide it.
Hey, I'm gonna miss one of the classes, but I thought, you know what, 3 is better than.
3 is good, and I'm zooming them.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna try to record everyone, which reminds me I can end this meeting. Goodbye, people.
Okay, that's perfect.
And that way then I can